It is the year 2512 of the imperial calendar. The date is Festtag the 16th of Nak Hexen, just a few weeks after Hexentag Witching Day, the New Year's celebration. This is the town of Delbers, a busy trade hub deep within the Drakvold forest, situated as a sort of halfway point between the major city of Middenheim to the north and the imperial capital of Altdorf to the south. A free town ruled by a wealthy council of merchants, but owing its taxes to the Grand Duke of Middenland. Delbers is where our story begins. Greetings one and all. Welcome back to the Temple of Verena, the channel dedicated to the magnificent Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay. My name is Brother Clavius, servant of truth and keeper of knowledge. It is my great pleasure to be your host and narrator. Throughout this series, I will be retelling the exploits of a particular group of bold adventurers as they journey through Sigmar's glorious empire. Everything you're about to experience is drawn from actual role-playing sessions, with real players making real choices and rolling actual dice. A group of brave gamers taking on the legendary campaign for Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay, The Enemy Within, with some minor alterations, as longtime fans of the campaign will soon discover. So without further ado, let's jump right in. Chapter 1. Grim Portent. Morning settles over Delbers like a cold, wet shroud. The first pale light creeps across rooftops slick with dew, and the bells of the Temple of Sigmar begin to toll. Their somber rhythm draws people from homes and taverns, all converging on Steinplatz Square. There, in the shadow of the temple, a scaffold stands, hastily built, reeking of pitch. A pyre has been raised. Something is going to burn. Rumors move faster than the fog this morning. The witch hunters have taken someone. A young woman, they say, Ludmilla Ermentrout, the miller's daughter. She stands accused of consorting with demons, of whispering to the dark powers in the shadows. No trial in any court, no magistrate, just the word of the hunters, and one hunter in particular. At the center of it all is Fabergus Heinsdorf, a towering figure in a black coat, his face concealed behind a lacquered bird-like mask. His name is barely known, but his presence commands obedience. With cold precision, he oversees the final preparations. The wood is stacked, the oil is poured, the stake waits. And while the crowd presses closer, 5 fates begin to shift. Dwinbar Bronzebeard, dwarf and wandering apprentice runesmith, finishes his breakfast in the Great Oak Inn. He spent last night drinking with a Sigmarite monk named Brother Thaddeus, also travelling through Delbers. They agreed to meet at the shrine this morning to see the relic of St. Helmgart together. Dwinbar steps into the street, unaware of the execution underway. Elsewhere in the city, 2 figures crouch on a nearby rooftop overlooking the square. Franz Schwarzwald, a sharp-eyed ranger turned outlaw, watches the scaffold with suspicion. Beside him sits Cleo, a quiet herbalist with more to him than meets the eye. They've been traveling together for months, grown close. But something in Cleo's posture is shifting, tension coiling in his shoulders. Gerhard Schiller, meanwhile, hurries through alleyways with his collar up and his heart pounding. He is a man with too many enemies and not enough coin. Somewhere in this city, bounty hunters wait. They want payment or pain, maybe both. He glances over his shoulder and ducks into the crowd. At the back of the square, Gerhard spots Dwinbar, the dwarf from the inn, and offers a hopeful smile, but it's cut short. Rough hands grab him from behind. He's dragged into an alley before he can call out. Dwinbar sees it happen, pauses, and then follows. On the scaffold, the monks of Sigmar stand grim-faced. Ludmilla is bound to the stake. A priestess of Shalia steps forward, insisting on her innocence. She is silenced, pulled back into the crowd by law enforcement. Following a religious lecture, with accusations aimed at the young girl, Heinsdorf raises a hand, and the fire is lit. Up on the rooftop, Cleo stiffens. He recognizes the masked man. This is no stranger. Months ago, that mask led the razing of Cleo's village. Everyone burned. Everyone but him. A shiver runs through him. His breath shortens. He breaks away, scrambling down from the rooftop, panic flooding his limbs. Franz follows, calling after him. In the alley below, Gerhardt's captors are already demanding answers. Debts owed, fingers threatened. He begs for time. They're not listening. They demand Gerhardt hand over the large sum of money he owes to their boss back in Middenheim, a man named Wittelsbach. The ruffians hardly notice Franz and Cleo in the back of the alley. Franz intervenes, tense, deliberate, not yet drawing steel, but ready, asking the men to let go of their prisoner and take their issues up with the town watch. The thugs warn Franz to mind his own business. Moments later, Dwinbar turns the corner, hammer in hand. He doesn't know who Gerhardt is, but he's made his choice. Together, they face the thugs. The brawl begins. Back on the square, the fire crackles higher. The crowd watches, silent now. Ludmilla hangs limp, the flames licking her skirts. A black dagger belonging to Heinsdorf juts from her chest, stabbed through the heart as the crowd begged for her mercy. Brother Thaddeus, the travelling Sigmarite monk, stands among the townsfolk, his hands clasped, murmuring a prayer for the condemned. Something about this witch trial rubs him the wrong way. Then, something shifts. Ludmilla twitches. Her back arches, her eyes open, glowing green. A smile creeps across her soot-darkened face. She pulls the dagger free and lets it drop to the stones below. Her body convulses, bones snapping as something inside her pushes outward. Flesh splits. What rises from the fire is not human. A swollen, glistening creature steps from the pyre, covered in boils and dripping with filth. The crowd breaks, people scream, but Heinsdorf doesn't move. As if expecting this, he calmly draws a silver pistol from his belt, takes aim, and fires. The creature's head bursts in a spray of pus and smoke. The Burgermeister, caught in the spray, cries in horror. Heinsdorf addresses the crowd. "Good citizens of Delbers," he says, "Sigmar's work has been done this day." As the square erupts into chaos, Brother Thaddeus discreetly steps forward. The black dagger lies at his feet, still warm, its edge inscribed with symbols he does not recognize. He crouches to study it. A shadow falls across the stones. Heinsdorf stands behind him now, silent and still. One gloved hand reaches forward, palm open. The dagger has served its purpose. It is time for it to be returned. Thaddeus hands over the mysterious blade as the witch hunter turns to leave. A few words pass quietly between them, sharp-edged, unreadable from a distance. Then Heinsdorf vanishes into the thinning crowd, his coat flicking like a shadow down the steps. The monk stands still for a moment. Then, with a thoughtful breath, he opens his notebook. Pressing his palm to a blank page, he leaves behind a hazy imprint of his sooted palm. A ghost of the dagger's twisted symbols, still faintly etched in black. It may mean nothing, or it may mean everything. Either way, Thaddeus is determined to find out. Elsewhere in Delbers, the alley is still a battleground. The fight rages on. Young Cleo, eyes wide with adrenaline, drives the end of his quarterstaff into a thug's face, crumpling him to the ground. Dwinbar strikes down another with practiced efficiency, his warhammer cracking ribs and knees alike. Franz fights with precision, fast and unrelenting, knocking one attacker unconscious and turning to face the next. Then comes a shrill whistle, sharp, repeating, the watch, closing in. Before anyone can move, a wooden gate creaks open nearby. A figure in a blue hood steps into view, beckoning them urgently. No name is given, only a single, whispered command to follow. With no better options, the four fugitives obey. Led by their mysterious guide, they weave through the twisting back alleys of Delbers, darting between shuttered shops and abandoned carts, ducking beneath washing lines and broken archways. Footsteps echo in the distance, but the guards do not catch them. Not yet. Only once they are deep in the maze of northern streets does the hooded stranger draw back her cowl. She is young, determined, Ursula, apprentice of the Celestial College and pupil to the famed wizard Hieronymus Blitzen. She introduces herself quickly, then surprises them with a question. Where is the fifth? The group glances at one another, confused. They are strangers, not comrades. There is no fifth, at least not yet. Franz explains as much, but Ursula only smiles. According to her master, 5 are destined, and when Hieronymus reads the stars, he does not err. Avoiding patrols and keeping to the shadows, the group eventually reaches the northern edge of town, where a tower rises beyond the rooftops, the Delbers Observatory. Their guide insists this is not just a place of safety, but a destination long foreseen. They are not intruders here. They are expected. At the tower, another familiar face awaits. Brother Thaddeus has arrived ahead of them, following the trail of his soot-marked notes. But the observatory is not as it should be. He recounts what he found: doors standing open, the signs of a break-in, and 2 cloaked riders fleeing the high stables on the back of a winged beast. The wizard's Pegasus, Whirlwind, stolen, and Hieronymus Blitzen himself is nowhere to be found. Ursula listens, stunned. Despair flashes across her face. She steadies herself, closes her eyes, and reaches for the winds of magic. She glimpses fragments of the truth, broken images, feelings, a shadow of what has transpired. Thaddeus speaks the truth. The theft is real. Her master is gone. She turns to the group. Her voice is steadier now, but laced with urgency. Hieronymus had foreseen their arrival, all of them, and entrusted her with finding them. Why, he did not say. Only that they would be needed. Now, with both master and mount missing, she begs for their help. Do they believe her? Will they agree to take up this unexpected task? Find out in the next chapter. You have been listening to this tale as retold by your humble narrator, Brother Clavius of the Temple of Verena. Thank you very much. If you like what you heard, please do leave a like and a comment. Until next time, may truth prevail.